Hello again, everyone. I have a message from a GoFundMe contribution, so they go right to the list. I actually have a couple of these to make, so thank you to everybody who is donating. I really do appreciate it. Remember, that link will be in the description box, and if you do make a donation, remember, if you want your story read, it'll go right to the top of the list. This comes in through Facebook from Joe, and Joe has his own YouTube channel, Joe Ferraro, where he's also talking about narcissism as well. So you check that out. And I'll put the link to his YouTube in the box as well. Hello, Ollie. Like others, I would like to thank you for doing this channel. It has been a great help to me. You have inspired me to tell my stories in front of a camera. So rehumanizing to see myself telling these stories. And I've said that about about making channels like this. When you can see yourself talking about your own story, you're able to step outside and see yourself as the victim that you are. And you're able then to see yourself with more clarity on what actually happened, instead of going through it in your own head and trying to work this out. When you see it come out in your own words, and when you see yourself tell your own story, you can actually start to empathize with yourself and realize that, you know, the issues aren't coming from you, they were coming from a narcissistic source. I have also published them in public to return the favor that you have done for me. I hope someone finds it and may help them realize what happened to them, and it's not all their fault. Although I do not offer advice to anyone like you do, I do refer people to your channel to get the same great guidance I get from your channel. I do appreciate that. I am nothing more than a dude with a story, and I am no way qualified to give advice. I'm just learning myself. I use the name Joe Vizio, and it's okay to use my name. I live like many of us do, low self-esteem and not understanding why I felt like a failure. One day I found a meme on Facebook. It was a picture of a baby boomer person at high school age. It had written on the pictures different boomerisms, like, "You're not trying hard enough, hit the bricks and get a job." What should have been a funny picture brought me to tears. I made the connection that this picture is like my father. I broke down hard. I researched a little and found your baby boomer rants. Ollie, I listened to those videos over and over. I am a 42-year-old man, and my father was breaking me again. After finding your other videos, it was a light at the end of the tunnel. This time, it wasn't an oncoming train. And when you first realize what narcissism is, and that you're not alone, and that your stories are like so many out there, it is like a light at the end of the tunnel, which is why it's important we communicate and we talk about these things. My story is much like others. My father was the dictionary definition of a narcissist. He is the look at yourself in the mirror and fall in love type. No one can do anything better than him. Challenging him would only lead to some brutal physical abuse. When he wanted to be, he was a loving and affectionate guy. As long as he has complete control over every aspect of your life and you stayed out of his way, you could skate by. My sister and I hid in our rooms most of the time. When he would talk to you, be that as degrading, disciplinary, getting information, or even a request, me showing emotion surely would result in a beatdown. Right, because when you're emotional, they know. See, when you show emotion, they know it's serious to you. And then the narcissist got to look at themselves, and they usually don't like what they say. And they realize that they're the source of the problem. They realize that they're wrong. And in order to protect that, that's when they lash out with their abuse, physical, verbal, gaslighting, or what have you. And that's just how the condition works. Example, asking to go out with friends, answer is no. I give a sigh of disappointment, resulting in the smack in the face for huffing and puffing. Yeah, Yeah, huffing and puffing. See, a narcissist physical abuser will use any reason to physically abuse you. So even if they don't like your reaction to their bullshit, they use that as an excuse, as a green light to to hit you, slap you around, and they think they can justify it in their own heads for huffing and puffing. Trying to explain myself during a discipline session would be considered backtalking. Result, smack in the mouth. By the time I was 12, I was getting hit close-fisted. He ruled with an iron fist. He did not seem crazy. He didn't seem like he was missing anything in life. He has a very high self-esteem, and nothing seemed to bother him. Well, the high self-esteem, I think, is a cover for low self-esteem. If I had to guess, your father actually has low self-esteem. That's why he acts like he has high self-esteem. As crazy as that is, I think that's what the reality of it is. People around him thought of him as a pillar of the community. He could do no wrong, and no one knew what went on behind closed doors. Some of his workers over the years could see it and regarded it as he's just an asshole. He is successful, strong, and very sane. I went no contact almost 8 years ago, and his attitude was, it's no skin off my ass. He has told my sister that he has told my sister and I that since we were kids, if you don't want to talk to me, it's no skin off my ass. And I would guess somebody had said that to him at one point. Somebody probably damaged him, and that's what was told to him. Oh, it's no skin off my ass. And when they repeatedly start saying, when they have like a catch line or a catchphrase like that designed to take away your confidence, let you think, that they don't care, they do care. They do care. They're telling you the opposite. To paint more of a picture, I started a janitorial company when I was 24. I was pretty successful with it. To my father, well, I guess that is okay if you want to be a toilet cleaner. Yeah, no matter what you do, they're going to look for a way to denigrate it. So you're just a janitor, but you own the company, you know, and you opened up a business, janitorial services, that regardless of economy or, you know, or new inventions, there's always going to be a need in this world for cleaning and janitorial services. Somebody's got to own it. Somebody's got to make money for it. Somebody's got to clean things. So why not be the owner of it? Why not run the best janitorial company that you possibly can? There's no shame in that. But the narcissist wants you to think there is. My mother was abused all her life and suffered from depression. She sometimes says and does things like a narc, but she is not a true narc. At least I think. My mother sent me to live with a known abuser, my father, at 12 years old. She chose to keep my sister. She abandoned both my sister and I when I was 14 years old and didn't recontact me until I was almost 17. She is a hopeless pool of negativity and even blames God because she never won the lottery. She is toxic. I cannot go no contact with her as she lives with me. She has nothing except for a host of health problems, including emphysema due to her own smoking habit. She lives in my back bedroom. She fills my house with a black cloud. She spews snide comments when she wants and tells her friends how terrible my wife and I are, claiming we don't take her to Walmart enough. All this while she allows my family, including my 4-year-old daughter, to watch her die. I was actually given a negative comment on my YouTube channel claiming I was too hard on my poor sick mother. Go figure. Well, I would say your mother is a narcissist. She's like, I would put her in the category as almost how a hoarder controls through their hoarding and their stuff. Your mother's controlling you through her sickness and her health and her inability to do anything And she's using all the same traits that narcissists use. So, you know, her trait is using her own sickness and health and making the family watch her die. And then because you're not doing enough for her, now you're the bad guy. Your mother's just as much of a narcissist as your father is. Just for the fact that she didn't beat you herself, big deal. She sent you to get beat. So, you know, they always say when you use Nazi comparisons, you've lost the argument. But, you know, are you any different if you order somebody to be shot than if you actually pull the trigger yourself? No, not in my eyes. Not in my eyes. So just because your mother wasn't the one physically abusing you herself doesn't cut her any slack. She surely sounds like a narcissist from what you're telling me. And she sure doesn't appreciate the fact that you're taking care of her, giving her a place to live, allowing her around her granddaughter and her family. You know, something few people actually have. You're going the extra mile, and she doesn't appreciate any of it. I don't want to make this too long. Anyone watching details can watch a few of my videos if they wish. It is only my story and nothing more. My reason for asking you for advice as I go through my recovery, it is hard on my wife. Although she is very supportive, there are some things that happen that she does not understand, and I don't have the answer. Your video on the trial that never ends, spot on. I cannot be questioned without feeling like someone is pumping me for information to use against me. Are you going to wear those shoes? My answer is yes, they are on my feet, right? If you want me to use the other shoes, just say it. Don't ask me. I don't realize I'm doing this until she's already said and done. I still do hit depression periods. Sometimes it's like a mood swings. I trigger a memory and Happy Joe goes away. I feel bad for my wife. She is 13 years younger than me, and her parents were normal. She doesn't know any of this. Her family is a loving, happy family. Now she watches her husband, who repressed most of this until the day I found that meme and broke. Although I feel so much better, I still have a long journey. This really came out with my mother. My whole life I was not allowed into the kitchen to eat without being questioned. My grandmother would say, "What are you doing in the kitchen? Don't eat that. Save it for your father." I called my grandmother the gatekeeper. It was her job to guard my father. My father closed the kitchen by 8 p.m. He didn't want anyone in the kitchen while he was trying to sleep. He didn't sleep until 11 p.m. or later. My mother would say, "What are you doing in the kitchen? Don't mess anything up." You know, and that's another thing. Narcissists love to control you through food. So closing down a kitchen, treating it almost like it's some kind of restaurant, and him using the excuses because I don't want anybody in the kitchen when I'm sleeping, and keeping it open for 3 hours at night. Can't even get a snack. You have to be questioned every time you go into the kitchen. This is a network of narcissistic control, and you're very right in where you're calling your grandmother the gatekeeper, because she is enabling this. She is a source for all this, and she's probably where your father learned most of his behavior from. Now my mother living in the house just lurks in the shadows, sneaking up on me while I'm in the kitchen. She says, "What are you doing in here? Are you messing up this kitchen?" Ollie, it goes right through me. I told her, "Mom, do not ever question what I'm doing in my kitchen. Of course I'm crazy or mean." She says, "I'll never ask you another question again, if only." And again, this goes to the point where narcissists don't ever want you to grow up. You are always going to be that child that they were abusing, because that's what they want to stick to. I think what they do is they fixate on a certain point where they got their best narcissistic supply off you, probably the first time they ever did it. And that's what I think they're always trying to go back and replicate. They're trying to replicate that, because they always say the first high is always the best high, right? So when they continue to do these things and keep you and keep treating you as a child and doing the same things they were doing to you since childhood, I think what they're trying to do is replicate that moment, trying to get back to that first narcissistic high, much like drug addicts or drug users have to keep using more and more different tactics. What they're really trying to do is replicate that very first narcissistic high, which is why it escalates worse and worse and worse and worse, much like somebody addicted to drugs or alcohol. My father took every family member to his side when I went no contact, including my sister, who is attracted to that inheritance that she thinks she's going to get. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. My mother spent her life having grudges with her family that would last 20 years at a time. I never got to know anyone on her side. Only now I am starting to connect to cousins that are complaining about having the same problems. Is this hereditary? Point is, all I have is my wife and daughter. I don't want to drive them all crazy. I wouldn't say hereditary is the word, because that would be in your predetermined, genetically to do this. This is all about environment. So if they're in the environment, yeah, they're going to be prone to it. Not just they're not prone to it because they have a certain DNA code or genetic code with you. I think they're more prone to it because of they've grown up around it too. They've dealt with these people too, so they get damaged as well. I have made a donation. I don't consider it a donation. I say I'm paying the good, smart person of a needed service. You have a gift for this. You help many people. Thank you. I look forward to hearing from you. My wife also. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you for your message. You know, really what I would tell you is, in regards to your mother, it sounds like she did nothing to protect you. She threw you to the wolves, no, throwing you to a known abuser. And now she continues to the abuse in your own house as you're doing her a favor, trying to be the good son, do the right thing, and take care of her. But she's done nothing to earn this. She's done nothing to earn her way into your house. And if your sister's hanging on for an inheritance, what a lot of them do, you don't need her either. There are plenty of nursing homes for people like this. And this is only going to, the situation with your mother at her age is not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. They don't get better, they get worse, especially as they get closer and closer and closer to death. Now, I think you live down here in Florida, and there are a ton of nursing homes down here, and it should be very easy for you to find somewhere to go. But I would suggest, for your own sanity, for your children's health, because if she's smoking in the house, and I'm not one to talk because I'm trying to give up these cigarettes myself again, and I will. But that shouldn't be around your kid. That shouldn't be around you. That shouldn't be around your wife. Your wife shouldn't have to deal with it. You should really consider moving her into a nursing home, because this is not your responsibility. She's done nothing to earn her way and to earn her way and earn you and her to abuse your family or to have your care or love that she doesn't appreciate anyway. I would get her out of my house so damn fast her head would spin, okay? Because as I've said in a couple other videos, she made her bed, make her lie in it. It's not your responsibility. But the overall theme of your message here, going back to, I really appreciate it. I do. I really do. I appreciate the time that you took to write this. But and because even I get revelations when I read these, and and I have little epiphanies, I think, in my head. And really the overall theme here of what I've gotten out of your letter, and I don't even know if this was the intent or not, is that the narcissist is really chasing that first narcissistic high, which is why tactics get worse and worse and worse and worse, because the first high is always the best high, which is why they treat you like a child your whole life, because they got that best narcissistic supply high when you were a small child. So it would make sense to keep you as a child throughout your life in order to get that supply they want back so, so badly. So I hope that helps out. Thank you very much for your donation. I really appreciate it. To everybody else who's watching, I hope this helped you guys as well. As you can see, the tactics are the same, the messages are the same, the tone is the same. You know, another parent throwing a child knowingly to a narcissistic abuser, disappearing, reappearing, telling you what to do for the rest of your life. Again, and this is another individual who was able to get clarity for himself by watching himself tell his own story. And I've told you guys, even if you don't post it anywhere, make a video telling your story and then watch yourself telling the story. And then you will see yourself in a different light. You will be able to see yourself as the victim instead of fighting this out in your head, you know, where you can't physically see your own face and your own expressions and how talking about, you know, certain things that affects your mood and emotions differently. Okay, because you're just sitting there in your head. When you could sit there and watch yourself tell the story and see how it's really affecting you and see how it's really hurting you, then you could see yourself as the victim. You could see yourself like, wow, they really did damage me. They really did hurt me. So thank you again. I really appreciate it. Now the link is still in the GoFundMe is still in the description box. Remember, if you do make a donation, I will immediately make a video for you, give you my analysis first chance I get. I really do appreciate it. This is Ollie Matthews. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all again very shortly.